どうだ
What's going on, everyone? Nipah3 doing another video, and welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry. We're in the last episode. George's love for Santa is full spotlight, and now he's actually trying to revive her, which is, I don't think it's gonna end well, but, I mean, that's because nothing ends well in Umineko. So yeah, let's continue.
わらわを手伝うか
手伝うとも。シャノンの命が蘇るなら、僕は何を失うことも恐れない。
Yeah, he's definitely gonna die. George's fist shook in silence. Then he slowly regained consciousness. He had been absent-mindedly standing near the window in the hall the whole time, his mug still in his hand. God, don't drop the coffee mug. If you, it's one thing if there's murderers, but if you get coffee on the floor, that's unforgivable. And the wits from his dream was still there. Oh.
そんな夢じゃない。
No, George, it's the acid that I mentioned last video.
静かにせよ今のわらわはとても脆いこの上さらに他の人間まで現れたら姿を保ちきれんそなたの願いは叶えるから今は良い
George covered his mouth with both hands, forcefully nodding several times. As he did, he almost dropped the mug he was holding. George frantically juggled it around and caught it. He was afraid that if it fell to the floor and made a loud sound, the witch's form might disappear like a bubble popping. He softly set the mug on the floor and stared once again at the witch in front of him. Though honestly, I forget if I've already said this, but I really liked how they were like, oh, that witch's power is based on if you believe in how many people are in a room. Because it kinda, if you think about it, if you're alone, and you think you see a witch or something, then you can, who's gonna deny it? Well, I mean, everyone's gonna be like, oh, you're alone, you could have made it up. But if there were multiple people, then it would be harder for everyone to be like, oh, that was a witch, because then someone would not believe. I don't know, just something I thought was cool. Her form didn't disappear. It wasn't a dream.
さあシャノンが眠る客室へ行くぞそなたの思いの力にて
Wait, but how are you gonna get out? The house is guarded.
行くってどうやって？
Oh wait, she is magic.
下には母さんたちがいる。表へ出るのを許してくれるわけがない。それにあなたはさっき他の人間が現れたら姿を保てないと言わなかったかい？
そういえばそうだったな。下にはクラウスたちがおったか。それでは確かに下へ降りられぬな。
Go out the window.
ならば、一階へ降りずに屋敷へ行けばいいではないか。簡単な話よ。
Bito laughed as though she had thought of a pleasant prank. The pranky just jumps out the window, throws him out the window. And with her golden pipe, she lightly tapped a window with its shutter closed. Once she did, 3 gold butterflies appeared from the pipe and opened the lock on the window as though melting it. Well, that was a cool effect. Then the window opened without a sound. The shutter beyond it was exactly the same. The clasp unset itself, also without making a sound, and it quietly opened. The window opened, exposing the wind and rain outside the mansion. Perhaps because of the direction or something related to the construction of the building, the wind did not blow inside. Because of that, for a while, George felt as though the entrance opening to the outside was a dream or illusion that he couldn't accept it as real. Oh my god, she just popped on screen! Vito gently floated upwards. It was a natural accident like that of a diver enjoying an underwater stroll. It made it easy to believe that if you acted like she did, you too might be able to float in the sky just as though you were swimming in the water. No, George did believe that. So without thinking, just as she had done, he also gently, as though swimming in the water, oh god, is he floating? Oh my god. I thought he was just gonna fall flat on his face. George was shocked to find himself floating in. Of course, Bito was also shocked that George, who had been unacquainted with magic, had learned how to do that just by... That's also interesting. I doubt it's gonna happen this episode because there isn't a lot of people left, or it might happen because there isn't a lot of people left. But it seems to be like if George can do it, anyone can do it. Well, I mean, I'm not saying I dislike George. I'm just saying that like it'd be interesting to see if like. Well, actually, wait. Oh yeah, wasn't Sanin? Didn't he like do magic in the last episode? Yeah, with the barrier. Okay, so it isn't like a new thing. People can actually like do magic when they believe enough. But magic isn't real, so we gotta deny this. Yeah, who needs Newton and Einstein when you have Beatrice? George repeated those words over and over. You must not deny magic, no matter what. To deny would be the same as to throw away what might be. His first and last chance to revive Sandy. However, compared to Bito, who was elegantly drifting like smoke, George's movements were clearly similar to someone underwater. Therefore, if he didn't make a movement like kicking his feet in water every once in a while, he'd be slowly dragged down by the force of gravity. Bito beckoned to George and gently flew into the stormy sky. It was like a scene from a fairy tale. The scene unfolding before George's eyes felt entirely like an extension of his dream.
空を飛べるのはすごいけど、すごい風と雨だ。
なんだ、雨と風に苛まれるのか。それを防ぐ魔法を教えてもよいが、今のそなたには早いし、今はそれを習う時間を割くのも惜しかろう。ええ、
僕が必要としている魔法はそれじゃない。
Without losing to the wind and rain, George wore a strong-willed gaze. He's going on a mission. The undaunting rose garden was spread beneath the witch in George's gaze. This fantasy-like scene was no longer surprise to George. Only the gradually approaching mansion was reflected in his eyes. George, if you just passed the rose garden, why not look at like the people who died there and be like, maybe this is a bad idea? I mean, I get where he's coming from and all, but like this is so definitely. Well, I don't think this Beatrice is gonna kill him, but I think the other. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew this was gonna happen. Meanwhile, the crew knew witch could be staring at the guest house from a different. She was waiting for them to move, and someone moved. And if he dies, everyone's gonna go looking for him, and that's enough to get the Twilights that she needs. Oh wait, I wonder, is she gonna go beyond the Twilights though, instead of just like kill everyone? Oh, never mind, George is fine.
標的はどうかに？ゲストハウス1階ロビーにて標的2名と後ろ宮エヴァを捕捉。反魔法力測定。410へデータリンク。410データ受領。反魔法力は極めて小。エヴァさえ席を外せばまな板の上のマグロにアワビです。いかがしますか、大ベアトリーチェ卿。ご命令をいただければすぐにも狙撃いたします。どうかご命令を。ほんとにあんたたちは便利な家具ね。死体をほじるしか能のない中古家具どもとは大違いだわねえ。
Poor Lucifer. Okay, that's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
またあなたたちの手際を見せてちょうだい。攻撃準備よ。
Though, I just want to say it's kind of convenient how they're targeting the people that Eva's with. You know, in case Eva were to kill them and then say that they were killed by witches.
たっぷり遊んであげるんだから。
Oh, not again.
文句はなしよ、ロノウェ。
はい、かしこまりました。
At that time, the witch noticed something, as though some presence had disappeared. Was it her imagination?
今、何か気配を感じなかった？誰か感じた人いる？申し訳ありません。私は何も気づきませんでした。私たちゲストハウスを観測中でしたから、周辺監視はオフにしてます。にひ。
Okay, that's also kind of neat to know. I mean, I doubt that'll help them, but they can only look at one area at a time.
ルシファーちゃんは何か気配感じた？
For just an instant, Lucifer sent a glance at Ronov, questioning whether she should answer honestly or not. Ronov gave a small nod in response.
申し訳ございません。ベアトリーチェ様、私たちは何も。中古家具ゆえ、愚鈍なことを。
Stupidity for failing a perception check. So don't say that. Ronov, you were the cookie making furniture. You have a pass.
そう。
You're like easy S tier furniture.
大悪魔のあなたがそう言うなら、きっと私の気のせいなんでしょうね。
The witch stared persistently in that direction the presence had disappeared to. That was the direction. Oh my, yeah. Beyond that, she could see the mansion's dark silhouette created by lightning. It took her quite some time before she pushed her unsatisfied feelings aside and once again turned to face the guest house. Okay, good, she ignored it. Gasp. No, but well, actually, I don't know. Like Natsui and Kraus, I don't think they have any chance. Like I know whenever she says that, yeah, they have no chance. Never mind. The guest house lobby had been engulfed by silence. The string of tension which bound Kraus, Natsui, and Eva had already loosened. They were completely tired, and their consciousness was beginning to waver. Every once in a while, they would stand up and walk around pointlessly, fighting their drowsiness.
大丈夫ですか、エヴァさん。やはり無理をせず休んでいてください。
No, don't.
大丈夫だって言ってるわ。
If you tell her to go rest, then you're dead.
もう大人は私たち3人しかいないのよ。休んでる暇なんかないわ。石にかじりついてでもここを死守するわよ。
She spoke a brave line, but she couldn't hide her rough breathing. It seemed that the fever, which had been calmed with medicine for a time, had returned. It was very obvious that Eva's condition was not good.
無理はするな。せめて目を閉じていたまえ。もし
No,
落とさねばならぬ時は、
That's enough time.
必ず起こしてやるから。
They'll do like a stealth attack.
言ってるわ。放っておいて。
Oh my, okay. Jeez. It seemed that she had now become stubborn. Kraus and Natsui realized that no matter what else they said to her in her current state, it wouldn't reach her ears. So they decided to say nothing more and let her be. To Eva right now, even an argument like that was putting a burden on her. I mean, is it? It would probably be better for her if she just sat there with her mouth closed. As a matter of fact, Eva was already on the point of succumbing to her drowsiness. She might have talked back with a temper because she was trying to encourage herself and throw off her sleepiness. The clock would soon be pointing to 6 in the afternoon. Because she had been snacking over and over again to fool her drowsiness, she didn't feel hungry. Wait, food? Oh, did they actually get the food? Okay, then the others didn't die for no reason. But instead, her lack of sleep made it feel like it was 6 in the morning rather than the afternoon. Even supposing that the boat would come at precisely 9 in the morning tomorrow, there was still more than 12 full hours to go. That was a dizzyingly long stretch of time. Long. Painful. Hot. Wait, what? Even the sound of the clock torments my body now. In times like this, he would put a hand on my forehead and the fever would always fade at once. But he isn't here anymore. As Eva's mind grew foggy, she once again grappled by a deep sadness. She had already cried herself dry. Even so, the sadness from losing her beloved husband had not been exhausted.
私は間違っていたんだわ。
どうして？
Originally, the new witch had been the same being as Eva. If Eva talked to her, she would always respond.
私は後宮家の当主の座さえ得られればそれで満足のはず
It's
だ
too
った。
late for that. Like,
それがあの黄金の山を見た途端に欲が増えたの。あの黄金の山を独り占めしたい気持ちに駆られた。
それは恥じることでも何でもないわ。だって後宮家の当主として当然の権利じゃない。他の誰にも黄金のひとかけらだって譲るものかってのよ。
私がその誘惑にとらわれたからあなたが生まれてしまったんだわ。
this is definitely like a split personality thing. Like, even if Eva's like technically not the culprit, I have a feeling that like this Eva is a representation of like, well, I mean, it obviously is a representation of greed and stuff, but it could actually like be her switching
私
personalities.
の少女時代の心であると同時に自分勝手でしかない。そのあなたがあの黄金の山によって芽生えた私の愚かな欲望のせいで私の胸という卵の殻を破りこの世に生まれ出てしまった。あなたを産んだのは私の責任。
なら私が殺したローザとマリアも、そしてルドルフとキリエと秀吉もあなたの責任ってことになるわ。
どうしてうちの人まで殺したのよ。どうして
秀吉を殺す気はなかったわ。だってうるさくてしつこかったんだもの。
Yeah, but you really like
そ
you
の
could
意
have
味
just
では
walked away.
私たちのいえ、あなたの責任ね。あんなのを旦那に選んだあなたの責任だわ。
あなたみたいな子供にあの人の良さはわからないわよ。あなた。
Also, I forget if I've already said this too. I know I said that a lot, but I swear Eva's voice actress like doing an amazing job this
何
episode.
よ。
When I was editing the last video, I was like, holy crap. I'm surprised I didn't.
私たちは魔
I
法
don't
で夢を叶
I
え
don't
た
think
の
I
よ。
actually said anything about that. But seriously, the voice actors in this game are awesome.
碑文の謎を解いたわ。そして黄金を見つけ、当主の指輪を手にしたわ。すべての夢を叶えきったわ。それがなんで不満なの？
But at what cost?
それだけが全ての夢なんかじゃないわ。あの人と素敵な人生を歩んでジョージに素晴らしい人生を託す。妻として母として私にはまだ叶えなければならない夢がたくさんあるのよ。それなのに
それはあなたが大人になってから勝手に増やした夢だわ。私たちの夢じゃない。
だからあなたは子供なのよ。自分さえ良ければいいの。そうよ。全て私が悪いのよ。あの時ローザの言うことにどうして私は反抗したの？どうして兄弟みんなに黄金を見つけたと発表できなかったの？全て私が醜いから。黄金を独り占めしたくて芽生えさせたよこしまな心があなたを孵化させてしまった。
ひどい嫌われようだわ。私たちは二人でUshiromiyaエヴァなのに。
いいえ、もう違うわ。そしてそれはあなたが言ったのよ。私はUshiromiyaエヴァ、そしてあなたは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェよ。だからもう消えて。魔女なんておとぎ話の中にしか存在できない妄想よ、幻想よ。あなたなんか消えてしまえ。二度と私の前に現れないで。
ああ、そう。
Wait, I want. No, they wouldn't do that. I was thinking that maybe C would kill like the actual Eva, but that would completely destroy all my
わ
theories.
かったわ。あなたの前から消えてあげるわ。そして私はもうUshiromiyaエヴァじゃない。これからは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェよ。もう好き勝手に遊んでやるんだから。あんたなんて知らないわ。へそでもかんで勝手に死んじゃえば。
After having a fittingly childlike tantrum, the witch who had once been another Eva vanished. Only Eva was left behind in the darkness, and she questioned herself.
私が彼らを殺したあの人。
Yeah, you did. Well, at least that's my theory, but like, I really don't think it could have been anyone else. Unless it was Dr. Nanjo.
殺して
So it was Dr. Nanjo. Now that question was the one she herself would never answer. Oh God, she's dying. It's a more powerful magic than anyone would ever know, the common cold. It seemed that half asleep, she had gotten some saliva. Wait, sleep? Eva was suddenly started coughing.
大丈夫かエヴァ
No.
夏日
Surprised they're still alive.
はい。大丈夫だってば。むせちゃっただけなんだから。
Eva pushed away Natsui's hand as he tried to rub her back and unsteadily rose to her feet.
顔を洗ってくるわ。ごめんなさいね。寝ちゃっ
She's
てた。
going to split up.
戻ってきた
Okay.
らまたコーヒーを入れるわね。特に濃い。明日の朝まで眠気が来なくなるよね。
Yeah, this is other talk for I'm going to go in the other room. I'm going to aim my gun through the door and yeah.
タイゴーダの入れるコーヒーよりお前が入れるコーヒーの方
Well, back to this coffee debate.
お世辞でも嬉しいわ。すぐ戻るわ。
Eva exited the lobby, heading for the lavatory. Kraus and Natsui watched over her frail back.
あなたもあれだけ犬猿の中だったエヴァさんに気を使うこともあるのですね。
本来兄とはこういうものではないのか
ええ、それで正しいと思います。
エヴァに限らんルドルフにもローザにも私がした兄らしいことといえばそれを王兵に語り彼らをいじめただけだ。父のようになりたくて私なりに必死だった。だがいつもそれは及ばずそのはけ口を彼らに向けてしまった。しかしそれは言い訳にならん。
Honestly, I feel like Kinzo has ruined all these people's lives. And not just because of like, oh, I'm gonna revive Beatrice, but I feel like every single time we get like insight on someone, their trauma boils down to Kinzo did this, and now I want to be the head of the Ushiromiya family because I didn't feel good enough. Like, god damn it,
エ
Kinzo.
ヴァにもまだ傷が癒えぬほどに深い心の傷を負わせてしまっただろう。悔いているが今さらそれを詫びたところでその傷が癒えるわけもない。
Only coffee can heal
あ
those
なたが
wounds
その
now.
気持ちを今だけでなく持ち続けることでその気持ちはきっと他の兄弟たちにも伝わりますよ。
今となっては他の兄弟もエヴァを残すのみだがね。
もしあなたとあなたのご兄弟が生まれた家が
Honestly, if like all these people, if only they weren't part of the Ushiromiya family.
もっともっと普通な楽しい兄弟の関係であったでしょうに。
それを言ってはならん。エヴァは生涯私を憎み続けるだろう。そしてその資格がある。私はそれを甘んじて受け止めるつもりだ。
あなた
エヴァ、すまん。もちろん許さなくていい。
もちろん許さないわ。何を今
I was
更
about to say, what a nice wholesome moment in this.
悪いと思ったなら今すぐへそでも噛んで死んじゃえば。やっちゃえシエスタ島。
Yeah, they stand no chance. How far away are they gonna get sniped?
45
It's the question.
射撃許可治療射撃曲線再確認飛行病院地までデータリンク。
I think these two probably have my favorite attack in the series so far. I mean, it is the most flashy. Even more, I hate to say it, but even more than the stakes. Together, the sisters released the readied magic bowstring. A beautiful tail trailed the golden arrow, and it drew a beautiful curve as it flew. It was just like a golden snake. Here it comes. It skillfully avoided a grove of trees and flew towards the front door of the guest house. Then it flew into the keyhole of the door and snuck into the guest house without any problem at all. The golden snake raced down the hall smoothly, yet as fast as an arrow. Right in... Oh god. They're getting sniped from outside. It would only need to fly into the keyhole and Kraus and Natsui would be right there. For an instant, Kraus thought he saw the door's keyhole sparkle gold. However, at the same time, he strained his eyes to see what it was. That sparkle bent like a whip and attacked, wrapping itself around Kraus's neck. Dang. Just looking at it, the golden snake looked very supple. Supple? I don't know how to pronounce that. However, it was as though a wire tightened around Kraus's neck. And while that snake choked Kraus, it extended even more and also tightened around Natsui's neck. Without even the chance to scream, their eyes bulged as they went into convolutions and then collapsed. Convulsions. Jeez! Nobody is safe! Holy... There's 5 people left. What the hell? Nerf these people. They need to be nerfed in the balance update. They're too powerful. This is why we can't have an Umineko Battle Royale. The golden snake began to drag Kraus and Natsui's corpses back. It slipped through the door to the corridor and dragged their corpses, gradually increasing in speed. And oh no, they're going to get a very harsh punishment. So well, punishment for nothing, but you know what I mean. So the lobby was still, as though nothing had happened at all. As though Kraus and Natsui had never been there to begin with. Only the sound of the wind and rain remained. But are they gonna get... The question is, are they gonna get Candylanded, or like, something even worse? Well, wait, no, Candyland was the original Beatrice, I think. Wait, no, what? Wait, was it? I forget. Yeah, Eva returned from the lavatory, but no one was in the lobby. Even though they had been in the sofa until the very moment she had choked and gone to the lavatory, they had now gone, and they had been an illusion from the beginning. Like she was pretending to be a detective, be in a detective novel. Eva put her hand on the sofa. She felt a warmth indicating that they had been sitting there. Yes, he definitely killed them. Maybe they had gone to do the rounds or something. For the time being, Eva sat down and waited for their return. Are we back with George? Bito and George could be seen in the parlor of the mansion. George was kneeling near Sannon's body as though praying. His face was sincere itself, and there was even sweat on his forehead. However, Bito was the same. Now that she had handed her name over, most of her previous power had been lost. Of course, she still had more than enough power to be called a witch, but compared to the past, it was a very faint thing. Go, George. George maintained a single-minded focus. He kept frantically yelling inside his heart, trying to call back the soul of the person he loved. He strongly envisioned his soul leaving his body and searching for her as he wandered through hell. Bito turned that strong force into magical power, supplementing her own magic. It was magic that, in the past, she could have performed easily without anyone's help. But now, if she didn't rely on someone's help, she wouldn't be able to finish the chant, much less succeed. An even more strained expression than George's had risen to Bito's face. She was still forgetting this, but the magic to revive life is fundamentally the ultimate hidden art. It was her previous magic powers giving her the ability to use the magic over and over with a snap of her fingers that was abnormal. Therefore, the heavy burden to her body and mind was by rights absolutely to be expected.
しかしこやつめの力魔法を知らぬというのはかなりのもの。なるほど。さすがは金蔵の孫といったところ。
Strong power pouring from George was even large enough to pass his magic power. At first, Bito thought it was due to the blood of the maid's Kinzo. However, that was probably wrong. She had a feeling that Battler had taught her that. George's power to feel sorrow for the death of his loved one arose from the way he had tried his hardest throughout his life, from the warm time spent together with Sanin, and from the size of their shared dream promising each other their futures. Do humans really live this seriously during their one single life? Of course they do. To her, a life doesn't mean anything more than the difference between the top and bottom of an Othello piece. If the black represented death, then she thought all you had to do was flip it over again and make it white. However, it was just like that broken vase. To the humans in the world without magic, where they can never return it to its original form, it is very, very natural for them to bet all their body and soul on that single life.
生死すら自在にする無限の魔女。死の山さえ越えられぬ有限の人間。
Now the witch acknowledged it. He was able to hold a magic power that could not reside in witches who didn't understand the value of a life. What is this thing called the Endless Magic for again? Even though I call myself the Endless Witch, have I been forgetting what the Endless Magic means for a whole 1,000 years? She looked at George's expression again. His surging earnestness was like a lightning bolt. Right now, even if George's body was burned or smashed by a waterfall, he would probably continue to pray for his beloved without minding it, without noticing it. For the first time, she showed respect for that power. So in that instant, all the magic resistance was lost, and the enormous power of George's feelings turned into a magical power in its perfect form. The vase was very, very beautiful, rich with history and value. Even as young as I was, it still forced me to take a deep breath when I witnessed its beauty. But that just made me want to touch it. But the vase easily fell and smashed into smithereens, like a popped bubble. It felt as though time when it possessed a form was just an illusion. It was just that fragile that easily lost that life. I realized that because of my own foolish curiosity, I had done something like that. Yeah, so that was her in the beginning. I know that kind of already said the vase, but that I didn't know if they were referring to the very first scene of the episode. No matter how much I regretted it, no matter how much I apologized, the broken vase would not return to its original form. A lost life will not return to normal no matter what happens. I was frightened by the fact that my frivolous accent, even though it had been frivolous, had stolen a life that could never be revived again. And out of pity for the lost life, I cried. Out of fear of myself who had made it become lost, I cried even more. I was sure grandfather would also cry at the loss of his precious face. I was sure that all the people who thought fondly of grandfather would cry too when they saw him like that. By the loss of a single life, the whole world would be filled with so much sadness. I cried even more at how terrible that would be. Beatrice appeared and spoke.
ならばお嬢様、この壺を魔法で蘇らせましょう。それで皆が幸せになれるなら、壺も魔法も精霊たちも喜んでそのために力を貸し、元の姿を取り戻すでしょう。さあさあ、お嬢様、目を閉じて私と一緒にお歌を歌いましょう。さあさあ、目を閉じてごらんなさい。そして思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。それはきっととてもとても美しい姿。どうか私にあの姿をもう一度見せておくれ。
Is a miracle about to happen? And how fast is it gonna get taken away? Soul of Soul. Those words of power powerfully knocked on the door to Hades. Her previous magic had powerfully knocked on the door to Hades in the same way. However, back then, it was horribly violent and earned the displeasure of the peaceful sleeping dead. However, this time it was different. It was very Wait, why hate? What? What do you mean? Did Sandin go to hell? The dead near the door opened their eyes and called out to the other dead, but there was a voice calling for someone to come back. The silence of that voice calling from the outside touched the hearts of the dead. And trying to spawn as quickly as possible, they searched for Sandin's lost soul. And then, they found it. They found the casket in which Sandin was peacefully sleeping. It truly was Sandin's soul, sleeping on the land of the dead. Inside the casket that was covered with rose petals frozen with frost, she was sleeping in peace. The dead silently lifted that casket up. While it looked like a funeral mirth at a glance, it had the complete opposite meaning. It was solemn but filled with joy. It reminded the long forgotten dead that they had continued to be loved even after their deaths, and it gave them a warm sense of peace. Then, as though guided by a warm light from the heavens, Sandin's body floated up out of the casket. The dead watched her go. They squinted at the warm light, giving their respect to the unknown member of the living who had continued to hold on to this person even after death. Holy crap. Wait, I'm not gonna judge until she actually says something. Sandin's body was sucked into the light of the heavens and began to disappear. In the jet black darkness of the land of the dead, the faint flickering of gold butterflies could be seen. It reminded them of the gentle stars in the night sky, which they had long forgotten. George remembered being told that he must not say anything, and he covered his mouth. However, he felt like his heart was trying to jump out of his throat, because he had seen Sandin's eyelids shake slightly. And then those eyelids slowly opened. Sandin's eyes were there, but they were still covered in the frost of the land of the dead. However, the warmth of the human world, no, the warmth of her loved one, who had called her soul back, slowly dissolved that frost, and her eyes gradually regained their sparkle. Then her eyes moved and recognized George. Holy shit! It actually... I thought for sure that, like, he would try and do it, and then it would be like, oh, he gets pulled there instead of C getting pulled back to... What the hell? As her lips shook weakly, Sandin definitely said that. Those words were very faint, so much that they wouldn't even have reached his ears. However, George clearly heard them. He heard his loved one, his fiancée, the one he loved the most, who should have been dead, call his name once more again.
シャノ、僕がわかるかい？
ジョージさん、これは夢なの？
いや、これは夢じゃないよ。だからほら、つねっても冷めないよ。
As George said that, he softly pinched Sandin's cheek. It was how George had always responded in the past when Sandin had been surprised by something and had asked if she was dreaming. And when Sandin felt the warm touch of George's finger on her cheek, and when George realized that the warmth of a living person had already returned to the cheek of his beloved, they both cried. With what words should a pair of lovers separated by death celebrate their reunion? Those words of the human world are not enough to celebrate that. And so they had no need of the words of this world. Sandin sat up, and the two of them simply wordlessly hugged each other. Sandin still did not have much strength in her, and putting her arms around George's back took all she had. George hugged her tightly to make up for that, to stop her from ever going to that place beyond his reach. He hugged her so tightly and yet so gently. Sandin's fingers curled around George's back, and on her ring finger indeed shone the engagement ring George had given her. That strong sparkle. But when is it going to go wrong? Like, I'm sorry, but there isn't allowed to be happiness in Umineko. This is the third episode. I know how this stuff usually ends. It was because that strong light existed that they'd been able to find her casket in the land of the dead. Bito understood. That ring, no. The couple's feelings in the form of that ring had created this miracle. In that moment, George had definitely used magic. Bito had done nothing more than help him along. That magic had a magical power that could only reside in those who knew the importance of life and trying their hardest. It was the power of a miracle that an endless witch could not know, that only the power of the finite could give rise to. By now, she had no choice but to accept it. She had to accept that true magical power existed in the place furthest away from who she called herself the Great Witch. It exists in all humans. The power to revive the dead.
彼女が
The power of magic.
君を生き返らせてくれたんだ。ありがとう、ベアトリーチェ。
わらわは何もできなかった。シャノンをよみがえらせたのはそなたの魔法、奇跡を成し遂げる後ろ宮の血。確かに見届けさせてもらったぞ。
ジョージさんが私を。
So perhaps Sandy isn't like, hey, you killed me, remember that?
わらわなど足元にも及ばぬほどの凄まじき魔力であったぞ。わらわなどまだまだ見習いの域を出るのだ。今こそ身の程を知ろうぞ。
Maybe Battle will finally agree to once again play their game of Clue. Bito staggered backwards. Her physical strength was clearly exhausted. She had humbly said that George's power alone had revived Sanon, but Bito had used all of her magical and physical strength, and she reflected upon how difficult it was to revive a single one of these lives, which they had toyed with however she wanted in the past. The couple kept each other in a tight embrace and showed no signs of letting go. Feelings that couldn't be communicated with a billion words were thus communicated between them.
ありがとう、ベアトリーチェ。君は僕たちの恩人だ。
ありがとうございます、ベアトリーチェ様。再びジョージ様に会わせてくださったこのご恩を決して忘れません。
よせよせ、愛し合う二人に感謝されては外道の極みと恐れられたわらわにはわらわのことは存分に再会を。
Bito, who was leaning her back against the wall, slowed down the wall and sat. How many centuries had it been since he had last grown this tired from using her magic? Probably not since the time I first succeeded in magic. Didn't Master praise me for that back then? Oh, but I myself killed that Master who praises me, didn't Oops! Don't be naive, Beatrice. In the end, that's what it means to kill something, right?
ようやく魔法の使い方を思い出したようですね。
頭ん中酸欠でカラッカラで思い出すもヘチマもねえぜ。それより
No, but good for Beatrice.
殺したじゃねえかよ。現れるんじゃねえよ。
あなたが未だに私を生かしていますよ。だからこうして現れられます。もっともあなたの頭を撫でに来たわけでもありませんが。
無様なわらわわざわざ嘲笑いに来たかよ。それに隠居までした魔女が今さら頭なんか撫でられちゃ。
そうですね。一人前どころか現役を退いたと豪語するあなたなのに、今頃になって魔法の使い方を覚えたなど恥ずかしくて誰にも言えませんね。
内緒にしてくれよ。おしょ。
She posted on Facebook. I'm so proud of Beatrice. Just immediately exposed.
はい。
The great Beatrice didn't know how to use magic. Oh my god.
勝てねえな。
Wait, what?
45デート
Oh
終了
no!
射撃準備完了。
Oh shit!
弾手選定。
No, don't do this! Don't do this! Oh my god! Just stop! Stop with the gun! No, no, the bow! Just
410射撃2
no, don't do. No! What the fuck? The golden serpent arrow fired by the chasters. weaved its way through the bushes in the rose garden, weaved its way through the hedges, and climbed into the stone steps toward the mansion's entrance, aiming for the keyhole. It weaved through the court. Jeez! How much hacks do they have? It happened in an instant. It would have been difficult for Bito, who was completely worn out, to have noticed it beforehand. Right before Bito's eyes, the golden snake that flew through the keyhole spun circles around the two others and pierced their two hearts. What the and with... The two had been pierced through the heart by... What the fuck?! They had just been revived! Why? Why would you do that? You see, I knew it. I should have known. I let my guard down for 1 second because I was like, oh, look at that. Beatrice is having amazing character development. Look at that. That's so nice. And then they fucking die. Why? Oh my god. In front of Bito's shocked eyes, the two collapsed on the floor.
ジョージサノン
ありがとうベアトリーチェわずかの間でも合わせてくれてありがとう
They got shot through. What? They're like, how? That was such a long way. Like we saw it go through the corridor before. We saw it go through the door. That was like across the island. What the fuck? The golden snake, which sewed the two in place, spun like a large cyclone revolving around the inside of the. It was searching for further kills in that room. Oh my god! Don't go for Beatrice. I swear to God, if you shoot Beatrice, then the no. In an instant, Bito prepared herself for death. Just then, Rojo stood in front of her, and the fingers of both her hands strong on her. In that instant, the gold-colored gold leaf buried in the inside of the parlor. It was like a blizzard of gold.
ベアト今のうちに逃げてシエスタの黄金宮からは誰も逃れられない
Yes!
410標的疾患魔法機回し45了解索敵変更対人画像追尾方式標的再捕捉410へデータリンク
I just can't believe this. He went for Beatrice too. Like, that's fucking ballsy.
410データ受領すっとろいに仙台様来て来て来て着弾
Wait, how can you even get away from these things? Oh, jeez. The Chester sisters' golden bow would not let its kill escape. It would not let them block it. No magical battery could even dream of blocking it without being multi-layered. The weak point showing the instance of confusion caused by Virgilia's deception magic was Bito's only chance to escape, and the only opportunity to make the sisters confuse Virgilia for Bito. As Virgilia spread her arms wide, blocking the way to her... Oh no, she's gonna die! The snake, which had snuck in through the keyhole, shot through George and Shannon, and then shot for... completely failed to notice as Bito escaped. Why are you killing everyone? What the fuck? Like, even witches aren't safe. What the fuck? Oh my... The strength left her body, and like gold dust drifting through the wind, her form was erased. Bito completely erased all traces of her magical power, became gold butterflies, and passed through the wall, escaping to the wind and rain outside. Bito felt sick from the bottom of her heart. Why? Because he had been attacked by the new witch. Probably not. Of course, she also felt sick over the loss of her master. But even more than that, Bito was enraged at the barbarism which had boriously stolen the union between the two reunited lovers. Bito had poured out almost all of her magical power to reunite them. That miracle had only been achieved as a result of all that, yet had taken such a short time to seal it away. Bito trembled at the barbarous cruelty which had ended it so fast. It was also the true form of the act she herself had committed up until that point. See, just as strongly as Bito hated the new witch, she looked at her previous self with disgust. Jeez. But now she had to escape. If she was targeted next, she would probably lose her life. And it wouldn't even be funny if the chess player descended like a god. ended up being attacked and killed by the pieces.
45着弾確認標的資産間違いなく先代様を撃破しました。また私たちの撃墜気象が増えちまうね。にひ愛し合う二人引き裂いて一度合わせて二度もう一度引き裂いて
Wow,
三度楽しめるだっけ
Like, her character writing is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a well-made character, but it's so well-made that I hate her guts.
そのついでにあのクソうるさいババアまでさよならできて最高にご機嫌
Fussy as fuck old hag.
ラノウェ文句ないわよね。
ございますベアトリーチェ様。
あいつは魔女の碑文の儀式を妨害したのに第一の番の生贄を勝手に蘇らせて私の儀式を妨害したわ。文句言われる筋合いなんかなんにもないわ。しかしずるいな。
Wait, that means it's just Battler, Ava, Jessica, and Nonzo, if I...
あのババアの思いっ
Jeez.
きり何度も無限にいじめ殺して遊んでやろうと思ったのに。
Holy crap, oh my... Ah! Screaming in R.PNG. That was crazy. That... Jeez.
ジョージが来てないわよ。いつ降りたのよ。
いつってあれは何時くらいだったっけ。
確か4時か5時くらいだったかな。最低でも1時間以上は前だよ。
俺たち眠くなって
Wait, but that was the last Twilight.
居眠りしてたし。でも多分ジェシカの言う通りだと思うぜ。1時間と2時
Jessica's
間く
always
らい
right,
前
Battler.
私もそのくらいの頃だと記憶しています。コーヒーのおかわりはいるかと聞かれました。
Something hard to believe had happened. Apparently, when Auntie Eva had left for a second to visit the lavatory, Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsui had disappeared. There's no way they went hiding somewhere. Of course, the doors and windows had all been vigorously checked, and they were all locked from the inside. Not one of them was broken. And that wasn't just the first floor. The second floor was the same. Also, all of the doors and the windows were designed such a way that they couldn't be locked from the outside. In other words, there was no way that Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsui had gone outside, and yet they couldn't be found. Furthermore, they weren't the only ones who had disappeared. Astonishingly, George and Nikki had too. George and Nikki had left saying that he was going to get more coffee, and had gone downstairs more. He drank too much. I had been under the impression that he was having a good conversation with Auntie Eva and the rest. But Auntie Eva, who had been in the lobby the whole time, said that no one had come down, since all the doors and windows were locked from the inside. It's hard to imagine that they went outside. Nevertheless, 3 humans had evaporated from the barricaded guest house, which had been a perfect locked room. It's hard to imagine any reason why they had hid themselves away for a surprise prank in a situation like this. It was probably appropriate to think they'd been caught up in this crime. When Auntie Eva learned that her only son was missing, she went half insane, running from the room to room and yelling his name loudly. And Jessica, who had suddenly lost both of her parents, followed suit. Cries of George, and Mom, Dad were now continuing to echo through the guest house. I think George had said something about wanting to see Sanon's face. It would be reasonable to imagine he'd snuck out of the guest house and gone to the mansion. However, I don't know about Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsui. Maybe they had guessed what had happened and went to the mansion to search for him, without even telling Auntie Eva? At this rate, it's only a matter of time before we start talking about leaving the guest house to search for them. At this point, I'd be in favor of that. We said that setting ourselves up inside the guest house would be safe, and set ourselves in this morning as a big happy family of 12 people. And now there is only 4. In other words, being here does not imply safe. However, there's something even more important that we mustn't forget. The fact that all the doors and windows are locked from the inside. This is a locked room. However, how would they oh my... Of course they can't make it easy enough that it's Eva. Well, I mean, they have to add something to spice it up, but... We'd searched around thoroughly. However, we were unable to find any signs of anyone hiding. The three of them had almost certainly been taken outside the guest house.
どうやってでしょう。まさか隠し扉とかがあるとか。
隠し扉？
扉も窓も外から閉めることは構造上不可能です。釣り糸の類を使って。
Well, I mean, if we were playing The Sims, then that'd be a different story. Sorry. Even using... Oh, yeah, you said that.
となれば扉や窓以外から出たと考えるのが妥当でしょう。
確かにそういう論法にもなるだろうよ。隠し扉が存在しないなんて断言は。しかしそういう発想に飛躍する前に俺
と申しますと。
For some time, Batterer had been opening windows, opening the shutters and checking outside, and repeating this for each window.
この窓は静かだな。なるほど。この窓は他と違って建物の構造上風が吹き込まないわけか。
そのようですな。こんなにも外は風雨なのに雨も風も入ってこないとは不思議な気持ちです。
南條先生、今窓を開けた時音を感じたかい？
いえ、気にはなりませんでしたが、よく油が効いていると思います。
つまり誰も見ていない廊下の窓からひょろっと抜け出すことは可能なわけだ。しかもこの窓なら風も吹き込まないから。
Why do you sound so I get you're doing good theories, but 3 people are dead.
静か。
And 3 people dead? No, that is... I was gonna say, is that a record, but... Well, I mean, 3 separate Twilights. Well, no, the other... Never mind, this is no record. Batterer leaned out and looked out the ground below. He was searching for some sign that George had jumped down. But at a glance, he didn't see any murk like on the grass in the middle of the pouring rain.
こういう窓が1階にもあるのかもしれない。誰にも気づかれず表へ出ることは可能だぜ。
しかし扉はおろか窓は全て施錠されて鎧戸まで閉まっていましたぞ。出ることは可能でも閉めることは不可能だ。
閉められるぜ。こうやってカチャン。
Batterer closed the window and locked it as though it was perfectly obvious.
まさかバトラさんが。
最後に中の人間が鍵を閉めればこんな密室
Wow, we
は
didn't
朝
even
飯
need
前だ。
like otherworld Batterer for that. No, this Batterer was enough to figure that out.
しかしそれでは
Wait, but where's Jessica? If Jessica's with Eva, she might be screwed, and that'd be very bad. Nanzo turned pale and shook his head several times, because the thing that Batterer said was presenting a certain truth to him that was frightening even to imagine.
俺の想像したトリックならな。しかしこんなトリックを使えば怪しまれる人物は極めて限定される。
He didn't want to say it in front of Nanzo, but after eliminating Jessica, who had been with him the whole time, the only ones who could have done it were Nanzo and Eva.
私はそんなことを
It's
しませんぞ。
Nanzo, you're fine. We already know that it was Eva.
誓ってもいい。
となるとエヴァおばさんと南條先生のアリバイ合戦ってことになる。俺たちは2人とも怪しんでそれぞれを別々に監禁すればいいだけの話。
There's a reason why it can't also be Nanzo. Think about it. George probably wouldn't trust Nanzo that much. If Eva was like, hey George, look out this window, and then just shoved him to his death.
逆に言えばこのトリックはもっと生存者が多ければ有効かもしれないがこれだけ人数が減った状況下では大して有効ではないんだ。
No, in fact, there's a chance they could dig their own grave with it. It should have been more expedient to make it look like the culprit was outside, and to intentionally leave a door unlocked or break a window.
もしこの失踪劇が今日の昼にでも起これば俺は自信満々にこの説を発表しただろうよ。だがこの段階に至っては何なんだこいつは。一体何を意味してやがるんだこの密室はよ。
やはりその。
なんだい南條先生。思いつきでもいいから言ってくれよ。
Because Dr. Nanzo looked like he was trying to swallow his words despite having thought of something, I urged him on. After a few several times saying that it was a foolish idea, he finally said it out loud.
やはりこれは本当に魔女の仕業ではないのか。
No, There was no such thing as witches.
バカバカしい。魔女なんているわけがねえぜ。
魔女は私たちに訴えたいのです。人間にはできないことをやってのけるからこそ、自分を魔女だと認めさせたいに違いないのです。私はこのゲストハウス全体の密室からの失踪は、そういう魔女からのメッセージだと感じています。考えてはならないのです。意味なんてきっとないのです。私は恐ろしい。
We're all frightened. Well, I mean, I'm not, but like, well, I'm kind of frightened. The fact that they shot freaking Zords through, like, if this was a game of Fortnite, how much meters? Jeez. We went downstairs. Oh wow, I'm glad Jessica's not dead. And we're each making a lot of noise about leaving this place and searching for their respective families. It was a desire that it naturally hits those who can no longer see their family. Auntie Eva told Dr. Nonzo and me to stay there, but I shook my head and started walking.
もう引きこもりはたくさんだぜ。俺も外の空気を吸いたくなってきた。
ああ、行くならさっさと行こうぜ。もうこんなところに閉じこもってるのは真っ平さ。早く父さんや母さんやジョージ兄さんを探しに行こう。
The blood had all risen to Jessica's head. I hope it doesn't set off her. Oh, shit, that would be
残り
bad.
たい人は勝手に残ってればいいわ。とにかく私たちは表を探してくるわ。
南條先生はどうする？一人で留守番してるかい？
いえ、私もご一緒させてください。
Oh, so he doesn't want to be suspicious. If the alternative was holding up alone in the guest house, whose security was by now no means guaranteed, it'd be better to be in a danger zone as a group of 4 people. Auntie Eva was holding the gun. Moving separately from her was almost like asking to be made into the next victim. In this way, the 4 of us decided to leave the guest house. We barricaded ourselves in, saying we'd be safe if we did, and then lost 8 people. It was almost as though this had been nothing more than a holding cell from the sacrifices could be. Well, okay. This guest house was safe. Until a discussion about getting food was brought up. And then it wasn't safe. And then everyone was slowly just like, I'll leave the guest house. We moved the chain and locked the front door and opened it. It was already pitch black out. While there were some lights outside which was dimly lit the pathway, they didn't have enough power to illuminate the darkness that some suspicious person was likely to be hiding in.
行くわよ。遅れても知らないんだからね。
Still holding her gun, Auntie Eva dashed out without an umbrella. Jessica followed after her. After looking at each other, Dr. Nonzo and I chased after them. And I am going to end there. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Those greatly appreciated. I think I'm really close to the end of this episode because, I mean, there's 4 people left. And that's kind of crazy. So yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Bye.